It's the Ruth Sheehan solo show today. Um, Danielle had another commitment. All right, perhaps I'm back. Couple of technical difficulties as usual. Doesn't seem to matter where we are or what we're doing. We've got some freezing and all of that. Anyway, welcome to the world. So if you're joining us or if you're joining later to watch the replay, just drop a comment in the comment section so we know who you are and where you're from. And this information may or may not be accurate for your specific location. I'm going to show some local data today. This is data that comes from our MLS, our multiple listing service. And that means it covers the entire Chicagoland area, quite a bit of the north part of the state of Illinois. So does not cover any other states. But we had a party the other day for our clients and the people who introduced us to our clients. And I got a question over and over again that I thought was very interesting. People asked, is the market slowing down? And that's kind of a hard question to answer because it's relative. It's also expected. So slowing down from the craziness that was spring, when spring is always pretty robust, and this one was exceptional. Yes. Slowing down from summer? No, we're actually, picking up a bit as usual in the fall. And then different markets have different paces. So a market might be a price point. It might be a specific location. It might be even sometimes a demographic. So you can have, a whole sector like tech that's kind of moving around all at once in employment, and that can almost become its own market. So there's a lot of things we look at when we try to answer that question. And today I've got some data to show you that should illustrate it fairly well, I think. So I am going to share my screen. And hopefully, let's see. I'm going to try it with a Chrome tab, which should be the information I need to share with you. All right, so wait till it shows up on my phone here, and I can see if, yes, that is what we want to look at. Okay, so this is Midwest Real Estate Data, is our multiple listing service, and this is data compiled from their program, which is all of the realtors in our area. So this first slide is residential closed listings. Now, you'll hear a lot of people running around screaming, saying things like closed listings are way down. So let's look at it, and let's look at it with the eyes of understanding and experience and and ask some questions. So the green is the previous year closed. This is the current year closed. And you can see that almost across the board, there were more closings. I think it is across the board, more closings from March to September last year than there were this year. So what would cause that? Does that mean the market is crashing? Because that's the question really that's on everybody's minds. Well, what's causing this is a really low inventory situation, which means we don't have houses to sell. If you're familiar at all with supply and demand, that's the supply side of the equation, which means we don't have enough supply for the demand that exists. So yes, closed listings are down. That doesn't mean they're not selling. It's the opposite. This is listings currently under contract. Again, you will see that every green line is taller than the blue line. We had a lot more houses to sell, and therefore many more of them went under contract last year. Now you can also look at just the blue lines, and you can see, typical seasonal patterns. You see that the green lines and the blue lines do tend to follow each other up and down. And you can see that we always have a big slowdown at the 4th of July. We get a little bit of a pick back up. And right now, again, we just have very little on the market. Residential new listings, same patterns, same story. Fewer houses on the market, fewer houses coming on the market to sell. Rentals. The rental market is also very robust, very little inventory, very high demand, and we see the same fewer rentals happening because there just are fewer to be had. This is everything active and temporarily off market in the MLS right now, our catalog of inventory. So the off market is this over here, and the on the market actives are here. So we have 48,000 active listings, and this just shows this year, not last year. 48,000 active listings in the MLS. The height of the spring market would have been somewhere in here. 46, 48. The most we had was 49-ish. So not a glut of houses on the market. Residential open houses. So this sometimes is an indicator that houses are sitting longer than they were before. Now, there are agents who hold open houses even as houses are selling in 5 minutes. So this isn't necessarily the best indicator, but it does tell us a little bit of something. And so you can see that in April, there were very few open houses, but they did shoot right back up. That was probably Easter. And then you've got this, kind of constant, typical up and down. Labor Day weekend, they were low, then they come back up. Nothing is really crazy out of line here either. Now, this I always find an interesting graph. They call it the impact of COVID. And so this shows the last 3 years. But what it shows me is, other than this huge dip we had when the world shut down for COVID, most of our ups and downs really follow. So when we talk about seasonal ups and downs in the market, they're pretty consistent. Look at this. So we see holidays. Certainly there's COVID impact here, but there's also weather impact. And right now we're here. We're right in line with where we are every year this time of year. Now, again, this this is showings. So you can't have a lot of showings if you don't have any houses. And so you'll see our line for this year is lower. Again, we keep going back to that inventory. Residential sold price. So do you see a huge drop in prices here? No, we don't. Year over year, every single blue line is taller than every single green line. Year over year, our prices are higher. The prices from the beginning of spring until now, we see a little bit of fluctuation. It's really not very much. Then we have the orange line is previous year sold price and current year sold price. So again, we're above last year's line in every instance, and there is no dramatic drop. So whatever you're hearing, the data is not showing that that's happening. Residential rental price up year over year. In many cases, very significantly. We have average and median. And so this data shows us that what we're seeing tracks for our season every year. Now, that's not to say that nothing big is happening in the market. Interest rates are way up. They are up significantly from a year ago. That's bound to have an impact. It's certainly going to have an impact on individuals and families who had a budget that they no longer fit into. So we're going to look at those very closely and we're going to say, does this make sense? But here's the thing. Nobody expects that to change in the near future. So while we might see a little bit of easing on prices, it's not that likely because we still have that really, really low inventory. So we're not seeing much of an increase on the supply side. And the demand, while that might be weakening a little bit as interest rates have gone up, people still need a place to live. So they're either going to be in one of those rentals that you saw go sky high, or they're going to be in a home at a higher price. People are going to have to make their mind up which one fits them better. But if you're waiting for interest rates to come down, first of all, you don't need to wait for interest rates to come down, because if they do come down significantly, most of the time in a normal environment, you're able to refinance and get that lower rate. But interest rates are most likely either staying around the same or possibly going up. So if they go up, that's where you're going to buy, and you're losing purchase power. Prices, I keep hearing, wait for prices to come down. No one really sees that happening. We see a probable leveling off, and possibly in certain markets, in certain areas, they could soften a little bit. But if the interest rate goes up more at the same time, then you're not gaining anything. So in most cases, the predictions are that prices will slow in their increase. So that's a big difference from coming down. If you're currently renting or living in the wrong place, then we still need to talk about how to get you into the right house. There are certainly people who might want to wait for something, but not the things that I mentioned, because those aren't going to change. So I've got a few people watching. Give me a comment. Throw something in the comment section. Let me answer your questions. And next week, Danielle will be back with me, so it won't just be me talking to myself. And if you are an agent, pop over to our agent YouTube channel. It's my name, and Ruth Sheehan on YouTube, and you'll see Agents Raise the Bar. We're going to be talking about this from an agent standpoint and how to get the information across to your clients who really need it. That's something that we feel really strongly about on our team, that an informed client can make good decisions in any market. Hi, Ashley. Looking to relocate out of state next summer. Do you anticipate fixed interest rates increasing a lot between then and now? So my crystal ball is broken, but it is certainly on the strong side of possibility. So much is going on in all of the other markets that most people think that interest rates will and they they fluctuate so constantly, not even just weekly but daily. So it's really impossible to call where they're going to be. The important thing is that you really look at your own personal situation, what you need, what is motivating you, what's in that other state that you're moving toward, and figure out what makes the best financial sense in the market we're in, because the market you're in is the market you're in. Um, and to me, trying to predict the future is just a losing game. Gosh, I wish I could. I'd be so freaking rich. Any other questions? So I know I kind of flipped through those slides pretty quickly. Go back and look at them again. How soon should we seek a pre-approval if we're looking to buy in June? Pre-approvals are usually good for, well, you know what? I would start the process with a really good lender. And if you want a referral for a lender, I will be happy to supply you with one, depending on what state you're moving to. Lenders are licensed in particular states. And you want to have a really good, solid lender who understands all of this. And believe me when I say that that's not all of them. So mortgage brokers are the best way to go. They have options for you depending on your different parts of your personal equation. You don't really need your pre-approval until you're pretty close to getting ready to go look, but you will want to have an idea of what your budget is ahead of that. So I would say maybe in that month or two, you want to, before you're ready to start looking, you want to talk to, hey, Carl, you want to talk to a lender and get started on the process. And they can sort of give you a glimpse of what you're looking at. But with rates as volatile as they are, we see pre-approvals changing from one number to another. So you want to make sure you have someone who's going to keep in good contact. And the other thing about mortgage brokers is they work weekends just like the real estate market does. So you really don't want to get into a situation where you're trying to buy a house in a competitive market, and we anticipate that it's going to remain competitive for buyers, and your lender's not available because they're off that day. You will not get the house. So I'm happy to refer you to some great lenders. Hi, Carl. How you doing? What's up? All right, everybody. I'm gonna flip over to my agent YouTube channel and chat with any agents who are interested in hearing about how to find this information in their local markets and how to share it with their clients. Thanks for tuning in.